Hi, it's Cindy, the self-proclaimed queen of hygiene. Dental, that is. Today we're going to learn proper flossing technique, but first, the joke of the day. What do you call a bear with no teeth? I'll tell you at the end of the video. A very important thing to know about flossing is that you don't have to floss all of your teeth, just the ones you want to keep. Okay, let's learn how to keep those teeth. Around each tooth, there's a little space before the gum actually attaches to the tooth, and it's down in this space that where all the plaque builds up. So you need to be sure you get your floss down into that space to get all that plaque out. It's much like your fingernail. Around each nail, there's a space before the skin actually attaches to the fingernail, and it's in that space where all the dirt builds up. And it's the same thing with your teeth. It's in that space where all the plaque builds up. So I went out in the garden and got some dirt. So here's all the dirt that's building up underneath my fingernail. Okay? Again, it's the same thing with your tooth. There's all that plaque building up in that space between the gum and the tooth. So, how do you get rid of that plaque? Flossing. When flossing, you want to start out with a pretty long piece of floss, about 20 inches long. And you're going to wrap that floss around your middle fingers. They're just going to hold the floss, support it, and it just makes it easier to work with. Then you're going to use these 4 fingers to actually work with the floss, so you end up holding the floss like this. The smaller amount of floss you have in between these fingers, the more control you're going to have. If you only use this much, it's a whole lot easier than using this much, which is how much most people use. You don't want that much. ½ inch is all you need. Now I'm going to show you with yarn so you can see it a little bit easier. So I'm going to take the yarn, slide it back and forth to get it in between the teeth. Once you're in there, wrap that floss around the tooth as best you can. Don't leave it straight like this because you'll cut your gum. Get it wrapped, and then the most important part of flossing is to slide that floss down and get it under the gum into that space that I talked about where all that plaque is building up. And then you just slide the floss up and down on that tooth several times, each time going under the gum. Come over to the other tooth in that same area and do the same thing. Wrap it, slide it up and down under the gum. Get a clean piece of floss and go in between the next 2 teeth the same way. Wrap it, slide that floss up and down under the gum, wrap it, up and down under the gum. Now you can see the difference between this and flossing like this. This isn't really flossing. This might get rid of some of the food that gets caught in between the teeth, but you really need to get the floss in there, wrap it up and down underneath one gum, wrap it around the other tooth, up and down underneath the gum. Now if you have trouble manipulating regular floss, go ahead and use these little disposable flossers. It's the same idea. Get the floss in there, pull it tight against one tooth, scrape it up and down under the gum, pull it to the other tooth, scrape it up and down under the gum. So again, with the flossing, under the gum is the key. You want to be sure you floss your teeth at least once a day. And it makes no difference what time of day you do it. Morning, noon, night, whatever works into your schedule best is fine. Personally, I floss in the morning because the last thing I feel like doing at the end of the day is flossing my teeth. But any time during the day that works for you is fine. The more work you do at home caring for your teeth, the less work your hygienist has to do at your next appointment, which will make that appointment much more enjoyable. Also, your gums will be healthier and therefore less tender during your cleaning. Okay, back to the joke of the day. What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. We'll see you next time.